Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're watching from. Hey, I'm Brian Manning, and I'm an asylum lawyer, and I want to answer your questions today about winning asylum in the United States. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you? YouTube, got people on YouTube yelling on. Good morning, good to see you. We're on TikTok. We're also live on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. I'd love to hear where you're watching from. Say hello, say good morning or good afternoon. Let me know where you're joining us from today. It's always fun for me to see where this community of asylum seekers is at. Say hello. Let me know where you're joining us from today. And then after you say hi, say hello, drop your questions in the chat. Let me know what you want to know about winning asylum in America. Good morning, YouTube. Hey, good morning there. Brian in chat. Hope you're all doing well. Says, I don't know what that person's name is, but thank you. And good morning to you. And thank you for being here. We got Jot Jamu from Mississippi. Nice. We have clients in Mississippi. Not many, but we do have some. Interesting. Very interesting. Chicago. Okay, cool. Beantown. Nice city. I like Chicago. We've got, oh, good morning watching from Delaware, says Tindonge Bernadette. Good morning or good afternoon already out there in Delaware. We got uh, our friend Yilaning says, or Yilan, excuse me, Yilanong says, good morning, Brian. I'm watching from San Jose, California, and one of your clients. Nice. Thank you for being a client. Yeah, we want to, I want to say thank you for being a client. We often have clients come on here and engage with us here, and I love to see you guys here. Um, it's an honor, really, to represent all of our clients because look, it's a huge decision. Who you hire to be your asylum lawyer is a massive decision because we're talking about your asylum case, which means we're talking about your safety, your security, and the future you're trying to build here in the United States. And so, who you choose to represent you and support you through that process is a massively consequential decision. And so we don't take it lightly. We recognize and honor the seriousness of that we get to be your lawyers and the responsibility that comes with that. We appreciate it and we're aware of it and we're going to work to honor it. Okay. And keep earning your trust and your faith in us to our clients watching. Thank you. Good morning. We've got hello from California, says Hermela Wadojo. Nice. Good to see you, Hermela. Thank you for joining out in California. Still early in California. What, 9:40 a.m.? Nice. We got Meles Moto also says California. Nice. Good morning from LA. 3 Californias in a row over on YouTube. Nice. Thanks, BC Legacy. Good to see you in LA. Привет. Доброе утро. Как дела? Все хорошо, все в порядке. Ну, отлично. Вот. TikTok. Good morning. Summer, thanks for being with us. Weddy, Shamir, Desree, Jordan, Diak, Truck Traders, Miriam Turner. I'm glad you're here. Instagram, good morning. All right, I'm Brian Manning for those of you who just recently joined, and I'm an asylum lawyer. So I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now I'm an asylum lawyer and my law firm helps immigrants all over the country. So look, we're based in Texas, Houston, Texas, but it doesn't really matter where we're based because we help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. That's what we do. All day, every day, all over the country. Doesn't matter where you are. All right. Um, uh, Please, why the put app in people phone? I don't know. Tindonge, I don't, or Bernadette, I don't understand that question. Will you I don't understand that question. Will you restate it in different words so I can try to answer it? All right, look, let me go up to this first. I think the first question we had was look about the asylum fees. How do we know about our annual fee of asylum with EOIR? Brain Boost wants to know. Look, here's the thing. The so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which is probably the dumbest name you could ever have for a bill, for a law, created asylum fees for the first time in our history. You have to pay $100 to apply for asylum now, but you also have to pay an annual fee, $100 every year that your case remains pending. Like on your anniversary, every year you have to pay another $100 while your case remains pending. And there's a bunch of confusion about when those annual fees are due for people that have already had a case pending for at least 1 year or more. And we do know that you're going to have to pay. If you have had a case pending for more than a year, you're going to have to pay, whether your case is with USCIS or an immigration court or the Board of Immigration Appeals or with Federal Court of Appeals. And the question is when and how. USCIS, we're good. We know USCIS has put out instructions that say, don't worry about it right now. You don't have to pay like in the coming days. Rather, USCIS is going to reach out to asylum applicants whose cases are with USCIS and tell them, hey, we need you to pay in the next X number of days, and here's how to do it. So if your case is with USCIS for right now, as I'm making this video, this live, don't worry about it. You don't need to pay today or tomorrow or anytime in the next coming days, okay? USCIS will reach out to you. For immigration court, it's less clear. The government put out some guidance that some people are interpreting to say, you know what, don't worry about it. Eventually, sometime in the coming days or weeks or months, they'll release clearer guidance about when you have to pay and how to do it. But then on the other hand, there's some people that are interpreting this guidance to mean that you should pay, if your case has been pending for a year or more, that you should pay by the end of the day tomorrow, because it's the end of our fiscal year in the United States. And both interpretations are, I think, reasonable and understandable. I tend to think that it might probably be the former, meaning you don't really need to pay yet. However, we're going to go with the latter. My law firm, I'm not giving you advice about what to do, anyone watching this, but what I'm telling you is that in my law firm, we're playing this more conservative, we're playing it safe, and we're going to apply for all of our clients that are in immigration court proceedings and have had their case pending, their asylum application pending for 1 year or more. We're going to go ahead and get the payments done today and tomorrow, before the end of the day tomorrow, September 30th. I think it's probably going to be okay for people that don't do that. But when you're talking about something as serious as a potential deportation order, for the slightest misstep or anything that the government might try to use against you, I'm electing to play this more conservative and go ahead and apply. So for all of our clients watching, if your case is with USCIS, don't worry about it right now. Eventually, USCIS will reach out to you and tell you when and how to pay. If your case is with the immigration court or the Board of Immigration Appeals, for our clients, we're going to pay for you. We're going to ask you to reimburse us. But we're going to make the payment on your behalf today or tomorrow, before the end of this fiscal year, to play it safe, to play it more conservative. We think that's the best approach. In the interest of time, we're just going to do it for you. We're not going to call you and say, hey, please do this today or tomorrow. Rather, we're going to power through. I've got a bunch of my staff working on it today. We're dropping a bunch of our other work. We're saying sorry. We're pushing it aside. So if you call or emails today, we're probably going to be less responsive because I've got a bunch of staff members focusing all day today and all day tomorrow on making payments for our clients that are in immigration court proceedings. So that's where that stands. For immigration court, you can make a payment there. As of this morning, I haven't logged on the last hour, but as of an hour or so ago, it was impossible, or the payment options online through the immigration court system. There's one that says initial payment, but there's not one that says annual fee. And so we're doing it through the initial payment tab. Yeah, that's what we're doing. All right. Thank you for all that you do, Brian. Forever grateful for all the videos, which helped me, and I would have hired you if I had found out about you sooner. Nice. Oh, I'm glad. Look, thank you. Very kind of you. Appreciate the kind words, and I'm glad that the videos were helpful. For those of you on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube is where I've got all my best stuff. This person on YouTube just said that the YouTube videos were very helpful. Forever grateful, they said. Go to YouTube and search for Political Asylum Lawyers. That's the name of my law firm, and that's the name of our YouTube channel. So on YouTube, search for Political Asylum Lawyers. All right. Is there a green card? Is there an interview for green card after winning the asylum? Anything related to my case? The question is this. So if you apply for your green card after winning asylum, or I should say when you apply for your green card, because you should. There's some people who don't, who they just remain an asylee forever, for many years. I think that's not a good idea. I think you should apply for your green card, your permanent residency, right after you win asylum. Anyway, so once you do that, are you going to have an interview is the question. Yes, as of right now, the Trump administration is doing interviews for all green cards, including those based on asylum granted. So yeah, you can expect right now an interview for your green card after you win your asylum case, and then you apply for the green card. Yeah, and it can be tricky. They're going to review your whole file and look for things that look like they could be inconsistencies to basically try to uh, call you a liar and have an excuse to deny your green card application, and even possibly to take away your asylum status and put you in deportation proceedings. It happens fairly frequently, so you got to approach this whole process very carefully. Brain Boost on YouTube says you're the best lawyer in all the USA. Thank you, very kind of you. I appreciate that. Juan Carlos wants to know, hey Brian, what kind of questions will my son and my wife be asked in the interview? Good question. The question is this: what kind of questions are your family members going to get during your asylum interview? So let's say you're the principal applicant, right? You applied for asylum, but you've got maybe your spouse and maybe kids as what we call dependents in the case. They're included in the case and they have to go to the interview with you, right? So what questions are they going to get? Almost certainly they're just going to get what we call the security questions. It's questions basically about, are you a criminal? Are you a terrorist? Asked like 20 different ways. But usually it's pretty short and painless. It usually takes like 5 minutes for the officer to ask your family members these questions. Usually they're yes or no questions. They do still need to listen carefully and think about the answer and answer honestly. But it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy, and almost certainly they will not have to answer substantive questions about your case. In fact, I think the chances of that happening are so low that we advise our clients and their families, like, don't worry about it. Like your family does not, your spouse, your children, they do not need to know about your case. They don't need to prepare for the interview. They don't need to practice, none of that. Okay. But if you want to know, guys, if you want to know what questions to expect at the interview, I want you to go here, asylumquestions.com. Asylumquestions.com. It's a free training all about exactly what questions you're going to get during your asylum interview. All right, asylumquestions.com. Go to asylumquestions.com. Asylumquestions.com. All right. What do you want to know about winning asylum in the United States? All right. Let's see. Azizai Asaf says, I had my interview on 23rd October at Chicago Asylum office. The officer said the decision will be ready in 2 weeks, but I know people's decisions were delayed for a month or longer. What could cause such delays? The question is this: why does it sometimes take several weeks, many weeks, months, even longer, to get your decision after your asylum interview with USCIS? Look, the good news is that usually it's not a bad sign. Usually it does not mean that there's like a problem with your case. You're going to get denied. Usually it's not that. What is it? Usually it's just the officer is overwhelmed. Asylum officers are overwhelmed with work. There's too much work. There's not enough time to do it in. And it's just hard. It's hard being an asylum officer. I know this because I used to be one. Okay. And so usually if it's taking a while, it's not anything personal. It doesn't even have anything to do with really the merits of your case. Okay. It's just they're overwhelmed and they've put it to the side and like forgotten about it or just not been able to get back to it because they're just overwhelmed with work. Sometimes true. It is because there's actually like security checks still pending or that they need more review from higher levels in the office or even back at headquarters because of sensitivities or tricky questions in the case. But that's pretty rare, actually. Honestly, usually it's just, hey, the officer's behind and overwhelmed and they haven't gotten to it yet. All right. And then this other one was, if my case is approved, do I need to apply separately for the green card or will it be sent to me automatically? Good question. The question is this. So once you win asylum, do they just send you your green card in the mail, like automatically, or do you need to apply for it or what? How does it work? So you do have to apply. It doesn't get sent to you automatically. You have to fill out an application form. You have to pay fees. And right now, at least under the Trump administration, you can count on having an interview for that, a green card interview. Okay. In the past, in the years in the past, usually there was not interviews done for most green card cases based on asylum, but now there's interviews for all green card cases, including based on asylum. Um, I recommend that you do it, the application for the green card, as soon as you win asylum, like the next week. I recommend the sooner the better that you start down that path toward getting your permanent residency, aka green card, and your citizenship. The sooner you do that, the better. All right. Yolanda Bolt says, "How do we pay through court?" There's a website to do that. I don't know the URL off the top of my head, but there's the EOIR. I mean, let's see. Let me just Google EOIR payment portal. Yeah, look, Google EOIR payment portal. EOIR payment portal. And then you just put your A number in there's a box that says A number, you put it in there, and then under filing type, you select filing type. And as I was explaining earlier, I don't know if you saw this earlier, maybe they've updated this in the last hour or so, but a little over an hour ago when I checked, there was no option to pay annual fee. But we're using the initial fee option for our clients in immigration court proceedings who have had a case pending for at least 1 year, 1 year or more. Some lawyers are saying, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to wait until USCIS offers more guidance, or not USCIS, EOIR, the immigration courts offers more guidance. That's pretty reasonable in my opinion, but we're deciding to play this conservatively. We're to play it safe, and we're paying now by the end of the day tomorrow for our clients. All right. My declaration filed 9 years ago has translation errors and missing details. At the interview, is it better to hand the officer my written corrections or just explain verbally when asked? I would explain. Okay, the question is this. Let's say that your declaration that you submitted with your asylum case contains errors. Like there's some things that are just wrong in it, maybe like translation errors or maybe real substantive errors. And it's also missing some detail. Like there's things now that you're like, you know what, I wish I would have added more details about this thing. How do you address that? Should you just write like an updated statement or a new one, or just tell the officer about it at the interview? If so, when? Look, I think if you have a lawyer, your immigration lawyer will help you address this in writing ahead of time. But if you don't have a lawyer, my recommendation is I would say don't write a new updated or new or corrected declaration. Instead, I would tell the officer about it, but I would not wait until the substantive question and answers portion of the interview. Rather, I would tell them about it while you're reviewing your asylum application. One of the steps in the asylum interview process is they're going to go through your application with you and go over almost every single question, every single box, and say, "What's this? What's this? Is this still correct?" And that's your chance to update and correct things in your application before you, at the end of that process, before you sign it. You're gonna sign it to signify that now, with these corrections included, everything is all correct and up to date. Before you sign it, I would say, "Officer, by the way, I know we're talking about my application, but in my declaration that I submitted, there's a few errors that I wanted to bring your attention. And also, there's some things that I think need some more detail that I didn't explain in a lot of detail. Would you like me to tell you about those things right now? Because I feel like they're kind of, some corrections that need to be made." And then they'll probably say, "Tell me what corrections. Don't tell me the detail stuff, but just tell me the corrections." And you can tell them the corrections then. And as long as you do it that way, it won't be counted against you as like an inconsistency. But if you wait until you get to the question and answers portion and the officer asks you about an incident and you explain it and you go, "Oh, by the way, that my declaration had an error. It said, X date, but really it was Y date." That's probably too late. By that time, they'll probably count it as an inconsistency against you and it can hurt you or get you denied. Okay? Juan Carlos says, "You're the best." Thank you so much, Brian. You're welcome. My pleasure. All right. "I'm going to apply for it before the end of this year. Thank you." You're welcome. You're welcome. Is having to hide your sexual orientation due to a homophobic law in your home country sufficient to win asylum in the U.S., or is it necessary for you to have been physically harmed? Good question. Subaltern says. The question is this. Can you win asylum in the United States without any past harm or threats at all? Yeah, you can. Look, you can win cases based just on the future, just forward looking. If you convince the officer that you're at real risk of being persecuted, even if you've never had any problems in the past. Now, usually these cases that win like this, where there's no problems in the past, but they're based just on the future, concern cases where someone. Well, let me give an example. It's not most of the cases, but here's an example of a frequently encountered one. Is like LGBTQ plus cases where someone maybe was not out in their country, they were concealing their sexual orientation, but now they're in the U.S. They've started to live openly, and they've decided I want to live openly. I don't want to be in the closet anymore. And so, if you went back to your country because you've been living openly and you want to live openly in your country, then you would be at risk because maybe of the laws there. Maybe they punish you, or society, you know, widely persecutes people from this community, and the authorities either can't or don't want to try to stop it. Then yeah, that's an example of the kind of case where you can win asylum just forward looking, based on the future, without any threats or harm in the past. Okay. Nabil El Assad says, I'm a Palestinian. I won an asylum case in Boston court. I applied for the green card 2.5 years ago. I'm still waiting. What do you think? If you want to get certainty about your future and move forward with your immigration case, then you can sue. All right. Uh, uh, yeah. Yeah. You can sue. You can do a mandamus lawsuit. Uh, let me just check this URL that I gave earlier, because I said asylumquestions.com, but then someone on YouTube just said that it takes you. Oh, you're right. It's not working. Asylumquestions.com. Is that the wrong address? Asylumquestions.com. Never mind what I said about asylumquestions.com. It's like it's either not working, or um, I might have just forgotten the URL. Asylum. What is that URL? Asylum Answers. Uh, yeah, sorry about that. Don't go to asylumquestions.com. Uh, go to look. Here's where you should go. All right, if you're looking for asylum help, if you want to schedule a consultation with us, great. Uh, but if you can go to winasylum.com, WIN uh, uh, ASYLM.com, winasylum.com. But if you want to learn all about what I think is the most valuable thing that we can possibly provide for you, go to asylumprep.com. This is where you're going to find information all about our mock asylum interview experience. Asylumprep.com is where you're going to find all about our mock asylum interview experience. It's a special package that we offer around preparation, because the preparation for your case, for your interview, is the most important part of your entire case. It's much more important than what you said in your application. It's more important than what you say in your declaration. It's more important than your evidence. It's more important than having country conditions reports. It's more important than having a lawyer with you on the day of your interview. It's the most important thing. This is your preparation, the practice for your interview. That's the most important thing. And if you want to find out all about a special service that we have focused just on this, go to asylumprep.com. 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 That's where you can learn all about it. Okay. All right. Oh, that's interesting. We had like the same question from two people. Nesta says, do you have to be physically harmed to be granted asylum? No, as I was explaining a second ago, no, you can win without it. It's possible. All right. All right. Okay. Ain Buhari says, a month ago, I finished the interview and received a decision. A couple of weeks says it's not a denial. Referral to court for future persecution testimony means please give a little more clarification. Yep. The question is this. After your asylum interview, you receive a letter that says referral notice. In the letter, it says, this is not a denial. Rather, we're referring your case to immigration court, and you can have a chance there to present your case. What does that mean? It means USCIS denied you. Look, they say it's not a denial, but effectively it is. The asylum officer decided that you do not qualify for asylum. They denied you. They're referring your case to immigration court. What does that mean? It means they're trying to deport you. They have put you in deportation proceedings. You are in deportation proceedings now in immigration court, and you got to go show up and try to defend yourself. It's true that you get another chance. You get to now try to convince the judge to give you asylum. And the judge, if they believe you and believe you qualify for asylum, then they can give you asylum. But if they don't, then you're going to get a deportation order. And so it's serious. US, USCIS tries to make it sound less serious than it is by saying, oh, don't worry, it's not a denial. Um, no, it's a big, serious thing. You should talk with an asylum lawyer right away about how to improve your case because you got to do better. You failed. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you, you failed at the asylum office. And if you fail in immigration court, you're going to get a deportation order. Now, the good news is it's not impossible to win at the immigration court after your case is referred from the asylum office. It's actually the immigration court actually has a higher approval rate on average than the asylum offices, or at least they did. That's probably, it might be evening out now, but it's still possible. Okay. It's possible to win an immigration court after an asylum referral, but you got to do better. You got to put together a great case and be super, super prepared. All right. Um, Elizabeth Precious, can I take a scanned printed copy of I and my kids' birth certificates to my assignment because I don't have the original copy with me? Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the, uh, yeah, if you don't have the original, I mean, you have no option. Like the best you can do is take the copy. So yeah, you should. Okay. Um, yeah, Brain Boost. Yeah, we're using the initial fee tab. We're using the initial fee tab. It might not work. Well, let me rephrase that. I know a lot of my lawyer friends, colleagues have been saying that some of them have been doing the initial fee tab to pay for the annual fee. And some of them, it's been going through without any problems. Some of them have heard back from the court saying, oh, no, you can't do this. You can't pay this through the initial fee tab. Um, I we're gonna do it. We're gonna in my law firm, we're erring on the side of caution and we're gonna pay through that initial fee tab to show that we're making an effort to pay because I don't want this government to use this as an excuse, this administration to use it as an excuse against us, our clients. So yeah, we're gonna do it today and tomorrow through the initial payment tab. All right. Max L, do you know if we have to pay the new annual $100 fee? Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. The language about the instructions around this is ambiguous, and so I don't know for sure. But we're erring on the side of caution at my law firm, and we're paying for people in immigration court proceedings. We're paying through the EOIR portal payment portal through the initial payment fee, initial payment tab for asylum. USCIS, I'm confident that you don't need to worry about it. USCIS is going to reach out to you. If your case is with USCIS, they're going to reach out to you. Max, is your case pending with USCIS or the immigration court? All right. My friend was granted withholding. How can we get out of this? The question is this: if you're granted withholding of removal in immigration court, should you consider appealing? And I think you should talk with a lawyer about this. Yeah, because look, withholding it's better than nothing, but it's still not great. It doesn't come with the same benefits and privileges as asylum, and currently it actually means less than it used to. In the past, if someone got withholding of removal, the chances of them being deported were extremely low. It was like you could basically just count on being able to live here for the rest of your life and work legally, even though you didn't have a route to get like lawful permanent residency or citizenship. You could still plan on basically like, I'm going to stay here and live here forever and work legally. It's not like that anymore because the Trump administration is deporting a lot of people with withholding of removal to a third country, because withholding just says you can't deport the person to that particular country where they would be persecuted. But it doesn't keep the government from deporting you to another country. And that's what's happening now. Is a lot of people with withholding are getting deported to other countries. So it's not as safe as it used to be. And so if you get withholding of removal but you don't get asylum, you should consider appealing to see if you can win asylum on appeal. I think it's worth talking with an asylum lawyer about this. Yeah, but remember, you only have 30 days to appeal from the date of the immigration judge's decision, so you got to act quickly. All right. AAA, I think the sooner you apply for asylum, the better. The sooner you apply, the better. I think it's better for your chances for success, um, substantively speaking. Okay. Also, the sooner you're able to get a work permit, which is important to a lot of people. All right. Uh, yeah, I think it's no. See, I disagree. I think it's better to get. Oh no, sorry. I do agree with you. Where you said, let's see what Brian says, but I think it's better to get annoyed than a referral. Yep, I agree. I agree. That's yet another reason why I think AAA, the sooner the better. Yeah, it's true. Look, AAA, I get your. Let me address it like this. The question is this: is it better to get a notice of intent to deny or to get referred to immigration court? We're talking about affirmative asylum cases here, where you get a negative decision. We're talking about if you get a negative decision. If you don't have legal status at the moment that negative decision is made, you get sent to immigration court. You get referred to court. You're in deportation proceedings, but you do get a second chance to present your case. The judge decides then. As where compared to if you do have legal status at the moment, you get a negative decision from the asylum office. You don't get sent to court. Instead, you get a notice of intent to deny, and you get to try to sort of argue back against that and try to still overcome that decision. But usually, it's you don't. Usually, it's very hard to do. But then if you get a final denial, that's it. You're denied, and you don't get to go to try again in immigration court. I can understand this argument, this idea that, oh no, I want to get to try again in front of the judge in immigration court. I don't agree with that. I think it's not good to be in deportation proceedings. I think it's better to get a final denial, as is what it's called, from the asylum office after getting a notice of intent to deny. I think that's better than to get a referral to an immigration court. Okay. All right. All right. What do you want to know about winning asylum in America? Let me know what questions you have. What's the chance of asylum case being won in Cleveland? It's not super high. The approval rate's not among the higher rates in the country, but it's not impossible. All right. Ken wants to know, where's your office located? We're based in Houston, Texas, 1923 Washington Avenue, Houston, Texas. But it doesn't matter because we help people all over the country. In fact, we don't even meet with clients there. We do it virtually. Well, if you want to do a consultation with us, if you want to talk with us, then you should go to winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. Winasylum.com to schedule a consultation. And we're going to do it by telephone or video conference. Whatever you prefer. I recommend video conference. Winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. All right. That's where you can find us where you can schedule your consultation. All right. All right. Nice. Sarath Kumar says, hey, Brian, I completed my interview on July 11th, 2025, waiting for my interview decision completed from Arlington Asylum Office. Nice. Look, but this raises a question, right? The question is this: what should you do if it takes a long time to get a decision after your asylum interview with USCIS? I recommend, if you've been waiting for a month to get your decision after your interview, that you send an email to the asylum office saying, hey, I had my interview on X date, haven't gotten my decision yet. Could you please let the officer know that I stand ready to provide anything else that might be needed to help conclude my case? By the way, could you please give me an estimate as to when I might expect to receive the decision? Now, that email rarely, but sometimes works to get the case done, to spur the officer to actually finish up the case. Because look, it's a lot of work. Concluding a case, like to do all the work around making the decision and finalizing it and doing the processing, takes a lot of work. Okay. But sometimes just reaching out reminds them, oh yeah, I've been meaning to get to that one. I guess I'll go pick it up now and just, finish it off. Sometimes that email then is enough to get that done. So there's no harm in doing it. It's not going to hurt your case. So I would definitely send that email. Now, if you applied for asylum 5 years or more ago, I'm not saying if you had your interview 5 years ago. I'm saying if you applied for asylum 5 years ago or more, and now you had your interview, now you're waiting at least like more than a month, you should consider suing. Do a mandamus lawsuit to force the decision. So this mandamus lawsuit that I love talking about, I talk about it all the time. It works. It can work to force an interview, but it can also work to force a decision after the interview. So that's something to keep in mind too. All right. Um, all right. Mozzie D says, good morning. I heard if your case is pending, you need to pay $100 fee while waiting, especially if you file before October 2024. It's true that there is now a government fee an annual fee that you have to pay every year that your case remains pending. When and how to do that is a little unclear from the instructions the government's given so far. My law firm, we're playing this very conservatively, and we're filing for all of our, or we're paying for all of our clients who have had a case pending applied for asylum 1 year or more ago and have their case pending in immigration court or the Board of Immigration Appeals. We're making the payment for them through the immigration court website today and tomorrow, before the end of the day tomorrow. That's a very conservative approach. So a lot of immigration lawyers think like, nah, it's not necessary to do that. But I'm not gonna risk it with our clients. I'm gonna play this one safe. All right. Nice. Hearts says, hello, Brian. I just want to quickly throw a big shout out to you for all that amazing content. What to expect after asylum granted in court. Thank you for the comment. Very nice. Very kind of you. Yeah. Look, it's a little bit tricky. You're going to have to, yeah, it's not something I'm in a position to really address right here. It's, you have to deal with USCIS is why I'm hesitating, why it's a pain. But what I can tell you, I don't want to get into the details of the minutia of the processing, but what I can tell you is that I think you should apply for a green card as soon as possible, like right away. Sooner the better. That's what I think. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. What do you want to know about winning asylum in America? For those who joined recently, I'm Brian Manning. I'm an asylum lawyer. My law firm helps immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right. Are the chances higher for winning being religiously persecuted while being a minority from Russia? Um, um, I mean, look, you can, as a religious minority in Russia, is there a chance to win asylum? Probably so. It's something that we should talk about. It's not as easy as just saying like, oh yeah, as a religious minority in Russia, you've got a good case or you've got a good chance to win. It's not quite that easy. We need to talk with you in detail about your situation to give you a sense for whether we think you have a real chance or not. Okay. Um, how long are affirmative asylum interviews taking to get scheduled for interview in New York City? The question is this: how long is it taking for people to get their asylum interview scheduled with USCIS at the New York Asylum Office? Well, look, actually, all over the country, all the asylum offices, we're seeing that for most people, the interview is getting scheduled right away. This is surprising news, right? Because everyone knows of someone in their community, family, friends, whatever, who's been waiting for many years for their interview, right? Everyone knows someone who's been waiting 4 years, 8 years, 10 years. So it's surprising when I tell them, actually, if you apply now, there's a really good chance you're going to get your interview within a few weeks of applying, not years, not even months, maybe even weeks. Um, but that's how it is. It's a long story as to why that is the case, but it is. It is how it's happening right now. Um, and so you got to be ready. You got to be ready. You got to be ready when you apply to put together your case and provide all the supporting documents very quickly. And I hope you have a lawyer working with you to help you with this filing. And I hope you have a lawyer who is ready to do the preparation with you, because that's the most important part. The preparation is by far the most important part of your entire case. And we're doing this for people. Um, we're offering this actually now only for the last few weeks as a standalone service where we can help you with your interview um, preparation, with your preparation for your interview. Uh, Even if you don't hire us to actually be your lawyers, like if you're not in a position to hire us to actually represent you, like in a full scale representation, we can still help you with the preparation. And that's the most important part. And you can learn about this program that we have um, at asylumprep.com. I'm going to put that in the chat. Asylumprep.com. ASYLUMPREP.com. Asylumprep.com is where you can find out all about this preparation program that we have. Okay. All right. What do you want to know about winning asylum in the United States? Uh, oof. It's him says, my friend got ill with a brain tumor last month and they wrote a letter, medical letter. Her doctor wrote a medical letter to USCIS because her decision's been pending for 7 years. And still she has no family member in the USA. Can the medical letter from her doctor help for a decision case to be considered? Yeah, it might help. It might help. They might look. This is what we. First of all, I'm sorry to hear about your friend. That's really tough. That's tough news. I'm really sorry to hear that. And I'm hoping the best for them. Um, yeah, the medical situation and a letter from the healthcare provider might be enough to get the decision issued. But look, I can tell you it's him. I can tell you what I think there is a very good chance of working, and that's suing a mandamus lawsuit to force the decision. So we use this not just to force the interview, but we also use it to force a decision. And if your friend has been waiting for 7 years for an interview, I think they're in a very, excuse me, for a they applied 7 years ago and they've been waiting. Now they had the interview and yeah, they had the interview. Yeah. And they're waiting for the decision. Very good position to win. In fact, look, some of you may have seen this last week. I made what I think is a pretty big announcement because it's something that you're not going to see from other immigration lawyers. I announced that probably for a limited time, we're actually doing a money back guarantee on our mandamus lawsuit service. So if you applied for asylum 5 years ago or more, five or more years ago, and you haven't gotten your interview, or if you have had your interview, but it's taking a while, like more than a month to get your decision after the interview, we think you're in a really good position to have success with this lawsuit to either force the interview or force the decision. And we're so confident that we can get this done for you, that we can have success with this, that we're offering a money back guarantee. If it doesn't work, you get your money back. Now, I mean, conditions apply, right? Like you have to qualify. Not everyone qualifies for this. We have to talk with you in a consultation to see if you qualify. And then there's like some conditions around it, right? But like the basic idea is if it doesn't work, you get your money back. We're that confident that we can help you with this. Okay. So it's him. We should talk. I hope your friend will call us. Actually go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM. Excuse me, WINASYLUM.com to schedule this consultation so we can talk with your friend about whether we think we're in a position to help her with this lawsuit to force the decision. Okay. Uh, nice. So I applied in, Gabriella says, I applied in February in Miami. Still no interview. I was hoping to be lucky and get a fast one, but no luck. Now I'm moving to Texas, so I will expect to need to update my address. What can I expect? There's no reason to believe, Gabriella, that moving will affect your timeline. Like it won't necessarily make it longer or shorter. I wouldn't worry about, like, the timeline is not really something I think that you should be worrying about when it comes to moving. What can you expect? Well, your case will be, you need to do a change of address, online form AR11 when you move, but I would also take a PDF like of that and send it to by email to the Miami Asylum office and to the Houston Asylum office and say, hey, I did this online, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys both saw it, that I moved to Texas. Could you please transfer my case from Miami to Texas? And they'll do that. Okay. And then your interview will be with the Houston Asylum office instead of the Miami Asylum office. All right. Brian's, I know people whose asylum cases have been pending for years. May I know the cost for them if they want to hire you for Mandamus? Yeah. So look, the question is this: what does my law firm charge for a Mandamus lawsuit? We're talking here about the lawsuit where you sue the government to force USCIS to give you your interview or your decision. Actually, if you applied for asylum a long time ago and you had your interview but you haven't gotten your decision, you can sue. In both cases, we're actually offering a money back guarantee right now. We're so confident that it'll work that we can offer a money back guarantee. That's something you are not going to see with other immigration lawyers. Um, Conditions apply. We have to talk with you first and see if you qualify. But look, what do we charge for this? If you want our help just with suing to move your stalled case forward, it's $6,500 with payment plans available. Okay, $6,500 with payment plans available. But if you want our help with that, plus actually trying to win your underlying asylum case, like we sue to force the interview, but then we also help you to improve your case in writing, and we do the preparation for your interview, and we represent you during the interview. If you want all of that together as like one big package, it's $12,000. Okay, so just the lawsuit, $6,500, but lawsuit plus actual representation is $12,000. In both cases, we have payment plans available and a money back guarantee for the Mandamus part. For now, limited time. I don't think that's going to last, but for now. All right. Uh, all right. Nice. Where are you based? Houston, Texas, Romeo Love. But it doesn't matter. We help immigrants all over the country. All right. Immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Hello, Brian. Thank you for all your help. My court hearing is October. What do you advise me? Says sorry about that. Which hearing is it? Well, first of all, is it a court hearing or is it a asylum interview with the asylum office? If it's a court hearing, then which hearing is it? Is it your first one, or what they call the master calendar hearing? Okay, court hearing. Is it master calendar hearing or individual hearing? What does your net letter say? Is it master or individual? Let me know, and then that's going to change what I want to say to you. So individual. All right. So look, you don't have much time. You have what? A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, not more than 4, depending on when in October. Okay. My advice is you hire us to do the preparation. We don't have time to actually represent you in it, like as your lawyers, and represent you during court. There's not time for that if it's in October. What we do have time for, though, is preparation. We can do preparation. We can prepare you for it by doing a full-scale practice hearing, a mock hearing, where we're going to go through basically everything that happens on the day of the hearing to make you feel like you've been there and done that. We're going to ask you questions that the judge is probably going to ask you and that the prosecutor is probably going to ask you. And then we're going to do a separate debrief session where we go back and give you feedback about how you did and what you could do differently, just to make sure that you're explaining your case in a clear and impactful way, and doing a good job of telling your story, right? And that's the most helpful thing that we can possibly do for you. Okay, so look, I want you to go to this website, asylumprep.com, and look on there. It talks. It's in the context of the affirmative asylum interview, but it's basically it's similar for a court hearing. We're going to do much of the same stuff, but we'll do the practice as a court hearing rather than an asylum interview. Okay, but it's very similar. So most of what you're going to see on that webpage applies to our mock court hearing services. Okay. Yep. Leo Trim 90. Why did the Mandamus lawsuit change from 3 to 5 years? Yeah, I'm sorry. It's because we just think that's the best thing to do because we think that you're in a good position for success at 5 years, not three anymore. So that's why we changed it. But it's look, if you're ready to get started, Leo Trim, if you want to get help with your case, you can start now with us. You don't have to. We would wait until you get to 5 years for you to hire us to do the mandamus part, but we can start building your case now. Okay, and so you can feel like you're making progress and be ready. Um, so yeah, if you want to talk about that, go to winasylum.com. Well, Deeso says, how much is the preparation? Good question. The question is this. So, how much does our asylum interview or asylum hearing preparation service cost? $3,000. Okay, technically, a tiny bit less, $2,997 to be exact. We're talking here about what I think is the most important, most valuable thing that we can possibly provide you with, and this is preparation for your interview or your hearing, where we're going to go through with you everything that you're going to experience on the day of your real interview. You're going to get a lot of the same questions that you're going to get on the day of your real interview, and practice it. And then we're going to give you feedback, and tell you how you can explain your story in a clear and impactful way. All right. We're not going to tell you what to say. It's your story. You have to tell it in your own words. But we're just going to help you to try to be clear in helping you focus on the things that are the most important for the officer to know to see that you meet all the eligibility requirements for asylum. Okay. This is the most important thing that we can do to help you win your case is practice and preparation. Okay. And you can learn all about that at asylumprep.com. ASYLUMPREP.com. Again, that's asylumprep.com. Check that out. I think you're going to like what we've put together there. Okay. All right. Nice. Nice. All right. Uh, ooh, RS says my interview is in a week. Nice. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you excited? I want to know which documents I need to bring to the asylum office. I lost my Russian travel passport. What should I do? Is it okay if I don't have a copy? I mean, yeah, if you don't have a copy, if you have a scanned copy of any of the pages, take that. If you don't, you know, then yeah, what can you do? You can't help it, right? Uh, you should take with you a copy of, you should take with you any originals for documents that you submitted. If you submitted documents and you scanned and you submitted them as evidence or supporting documents in your case, then you should take with you the originals if you have originals. Okay. You should take with you any passports you have. You should take with you your work permit if you have one of those. You should take with you a snack because you might be there all day. Usually they're these days they're pretty quick. It's like 2.5 hours on average now, but sometimes it's all day. Take a snack in case it's all day and you get hungry. Take a jacket or a sweater because it's usually kept pretty cold in the asylum office. Um, yeah, look, RS, if you have a week before your interview, we may still have time. If you today schedule a consultation with us and you do that consultation tomorrow or the next day and your interview is a week from now, we would have time to do our preparation process with you, what we call the mock asylum interview experience, where we're going to get you prepared. We're going to do a full scale practice interview, and we're going to do a separate, like a follow on debrief session, uh, and help you win your case through this preparation. Go to asylumprep.com, ASYLUMPREP.com. Okay, RS, go to asylumprep.com. Good luck. All right, go get them. Nice. You're welcome. You are welcome. Yeah, look, the Mandamus, going back to Mandamus, I got to tell you, past results don't guarantee future results, but I'm really proud to say that we filed around 200 of these lawsuits in the last 2 or so years. And to date, up until this moment, when I'm doing this live, this show, we haven't lost one of these cases yet. Like that's why I'm able to offer a money back guarantee, is because I'm really confident that we can make it work. I wouldn't offer a money back guarantee if I didn't have supreme confidence in this, right? It wouldn't make much sense. Um, that's how confident I am. If you meet certain qualifications, then I'm very confident that it'll work. So we offer a money back guarantee. So look, if you've been waiting 5 years or more for your asylum interview, we should talk. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com, to schedule a consultation so we can talk through your case and see if it makes sense for you. Okay, and see if you qualify for this service and for the money back guarantee. Okay. Which part of the DC area, DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area has the highest approval rate? Well, they're all, well, no, that's not true. It depends on whether it's affirmative asylum or in immigration court. Yoftahe Abe, what are you more interested in knowing about the asylum offices or about immigration courts? Because um, for asylum office, it's the same. They're all those areas. Anyone in those areas, any of those areas, goes to the Arlington Asylum Office in Arlington, and it's pretty good. It's comparatively, it's better than a lot of the asylum offices. It's not like the highest approval rate, but it's fairly high in comparison. It's still not high. It's still not high. It's still hard to win. Yeah, for affirmative, yeah, it's all Arlington Asylum Office. Okay. Um, Yopte, Abai, or Abe. We have a lot of experience with the Arlington Asylum Office. We've had some good results there. We should talk. All right. Oh, nice. Uh, nice. NDS Mong says, this is on Facebook. It says, I highly recommend anyone who's applying for asylum must work with Brian. Hold on, let me see what you're saying here. Must work with Brian's team. They helped me get approved my asylum within 3 months and then 1 year for my green card. Mock interview was super helpful because they know what most of the questions would be. Um, yeah, like look, I worked for 11 years for the government's 2 main agencies for asylum and refugee matters. I've done thousands of immigration interviews as an immigration officer for the government. And then now, I have an asylum law firm and we do asylum every day. We know this stuff. We know what kind of questions you're going to get. And practicing them makes all the difference in the world. Practicing, having you hear them and practicing your responses is the best way to prepare. Okay. The mock asylum interview is the best way to prepare for your real asylum interview. In my opinion, it is the number one thing that you can do to increase your chances for asylum success. It's the most powerful thing you can do to maximize your chances for winning your asylum case. And the preparation that we do for our clients, we're also now offering as a standalone service. What do I mean by that? Well, I think the best thing that you can do is hire us for your whole case, right? From beginning to end to be your lawyers. But for some people, that's just not an option. One of the reasons is it may be timing or it may be like cost, right? It's expensive. Um, to hire us to be your lawyers in your immigration case, in your asylum case, it's going to be between usually $11,000 to $16,000. But if you want help just with the preparation, which is the most important part actually, it's a fraction of that cost. To hire us for preparation through a program that we call the mock asylum interview experience is just $3,000. Okay, just $3,000 for the mock asylum interview experience. And Anmol, who says, I have my asylum interview in 3 weeks at Bethpage, New York. We should talk. Anmol, please go to this webpage, asylumprep.com. Go to asylumprep.com, okay? I'm going to put it in the chat right now, Anmol. Asylumprep.com. I think you're going to like what you see there. I think you're going to, if you take a minute to watch the video at the top or to read the very long webpage, I think you're going to be convinced that this could be something that could help you. All right. Asylumprep.com. That's our preparation package. That's where we offer, full scale, asylum interview preparation services. All right. You can find out all about it there. All right. All right. Nice. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Uh, yeah. Anmol, are you going to go there? Let me know in the chat. Are you going to go check it out at asylumprep.com? Let me know. All right. Guys, that's actually going to be it for today. Uh, Thank you for being with me. It's a pleasure and an honor, really, to support you in your asylum journey. So thanks for being with us. Look, I'm going to be live tomorrow on Tuesday, September 30th at 11 a.m. U.S. Central Time, which is noon Eastern Time, and it's 9 a.m. for our friends out in California. We're going to be live, and I'm going to answer questions about winning asylum in the United States. So join me tomorrow and let me know what questions you have at that time. Thank you for being with me today. As always, really, it's a pleasure and honor to support you in your asylum journey. So have a great day, have a great afternoon, stay safe out there.